I know. Now I know to my cost why he needed the Vic. Peter has spent his life suffering with catarrhal inflammation of the mucous membrane of his nose.
This is getting worse and worse.
With the resultant...
I'm glad you're recording this. This is grounds for divorce.
With the resultant buckets of green gloop.
Oh,
Which he-
what? Is this a quiz question? Or what? It's a book.
How much?
He is a past master of snorting it out of one
Oh,
nostril.
all right. Hillary. You're on the wrong program, Hillary.
What was the homework?
Exactly. He's been waiting
No.
40 years
There,
back at him for this.
there is a noun which refers to this inflammation. Is it number one, corflux, number two, coryza, number three, corrosin, number four, causite?
Bloody hell.
Oh, I think you have to read those again and spell them, maybe. I don't know.
Just do it phonetically.
Right, is it number one, corflux, number two, coryza, number three, corrosin, number four, causite?
I'll be interested to find out.
All this time. Bloody hell. Oh dear. Well, we're going to have to vote, I think. Who's voting for corflux? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's nearly everybody. That leaves Pete. What are you voting for, Pete?
B.
Coryza. There's your answer, Hillary. The majority want corflux.
It is coryza.
Oh!
Something else. So did I get that right?
And do you
Yeah.
know, I only learned this today because I play Words with Friends and I play the computer.
Tell more stories like that and you'll never have any friends.
And when you play hard and very hard,
Yeah.
the computer comes up with all these flipping words
Yeah.
that you have never heard of
Yeah.
and you do not know the meaning of. And if
Do you
you
mean to
press on the
say,
word,
Hillary, do you mean to say that you've lived with Pete for however many years, 40 odd years, and you don't know what he's like? You've only just found out. Found out today.
unfortunately, I do know what he's like, but I don't
But you
know
didn't
the
have a
noun.
name for it.
Didn't have the words.
We've never known
Anyway.
what's wrong with him.
Oh, I do. This came up today, so I pressed on it and it said, you know, inflammation of the mucous membrane of the nose. And I thought, aha, I
That was
thought,
my question.
that sounds familiar.
Okay, jumping around the room. Jumping around the room, we skip one and we come to me. So my question is, what technical achievement am I most proud of? Is it A, installing a wall-hung toilet in 44 Oakfield Road, thereafter known as the Hanging Bog of Babylon? And it was a wall hung, not a well hung. B, mending my Morris Traveller on the go with my shoelace.
Ooh.
C, creating 46 amuse-bouches for your delectation. That's the total we're at so far.
Wow.
And the last one, learning to do a telemark turn on the Sierras of Madrid. Did you know there are Sierras in Madrid, around surrounding Madrid, indeed? So,
Well, I don't know which one you're most
so
proud
those are
of.
the
I don't
three.
even know what a telemark turn is.
Well,
What is a telemark
you
turn? We're not allowed
What's
to know.
telemark turn?
it's a cross-country skiing turn rather than an alpine turn. An alpine turn, you sort of jump from side to side. With a telemark turn, you've got long, thin skis, and you push one ski in front of the other and bend your knees and sort of glide around in long.
He does it very
sweeping-
well. He did do it very,
sweeping
very
turns.
well.
It's very beautiful to watch. So I was very proud of myself when I managed to master it.
goodness.
There was a particular corner where we used to go on a regular basis when I had my year in Madrid, and in the winter we used to go almost every week to the Sierras, and it became known as La Curva de Jim, because every time I got to this curve I fell over, and after about 9 or 10 visits I actually managed to get round doing my telemark turn.
Right.
So what was your question, Jim, at the beginning?
Which
you're most
technical
proud of?
achievement am I most proud of? So you've got installing the hanging bog of Babylon. You've got mending my Morris Traveller on the go using my shoelace, creating 46 amuse-bouche, and learning to do a telemark turn.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so
Yeah.
votes.
I don't know which one.
What actually happened with my Morris Traveller, by the way, was I was driving along, and all of a sudden my foot hit the floor of the accelerator and went completely floppy, and the engine started racing, and I had no power whatsoever. So I rolled into the side and had a look, and there was a little spring on the carburetor that had rusted in half. So I joined it together with my shoelace, and away I went.
That is
No.
And
That
would
is-
have been young, wouldn't he? So he'd be proud of that.
I
That
think
reminds
I'm
me,
going to vote for that one.
So who's going to vote for the Hanging Bog of Babylon?
That was also very good. No.
Nobody. Who's voting
yeah,
for
that's
Pretty
easy.
good.
Morris Traveller and the shoelace?
Nick.
Yeah, definitely. It's got to be
Yeah,
the
that's the one.
Innovation.
That's the one.
What were you going to say,
You
Bob?
know, those
No.
were the days when you looked under the bonnet and you could make sense of the
Yes.
engine.
What was there? Yes,
Not any.
Now
Well, it
it's
couldn't.
exactly.
I lift
Well,
my
you've got no
bonnet
choice
and
now.
play ping pong. It's just a flat top. It reminds me of driving back with my father in a 1922 de Dion Bouton from the Isle of Wight. And the universal joint on the main drive, which took the power to the back wheel, was dragging along the ground. So we tied it up with one of a pair of stockings.
Yeah,
Those
stockings
are the
were an
days.
essential bit of kit. Fan belt was replacement and
You
things
used to
like
be able to
that.
mend
Yes,
fan belts with
fan belts with
stockings. didn't you?
stockings. Yeah.
Useful things, stockings.
I repaired a windscreen wiper that had stopped when I was driving from Swindon to Trowbridge in a blizzard. And I tied my handkerchief to it and had my
I've heard of
hand
the
out
blizzard before. What
bloody
make of car
freezing.
is that?
and pulled it like that.
Okay, jumping around the room, we come to Lynn.
Oh, okay. Right. I think mine's a bit more serious. Okay, my question is, which of these uses approximately 7,500 litres of water?
Ooh.
Is it a mature tree? So that's a healthy tree of about 100 foot tall with 20,000 leaves. Is it the manufacture of a pair of jeans?
Oh.
Is it the Conservative government over a week during their work meetings in the number 10 garden? Or is it a house with older style toilets over a month?
Oh.
Well, it certainly wasn't 44 Oakfield Road, that's for sure. With the hanging bog.
7,500. And how long is it for the tree? Over its lifetime or no?
Mature tree.
The mature tree over a month, sorry.
Over 1 month, okay.
Yeah.
Well, nobody's going to vote for the Conservative government, are they? Not under any.
Unfortunately, too many people do.
Even for this.
Wow.
Okay then, votes. Who's voting for the mature tree?
House of
Nobody. The jeans, the pair of jeans.
That might be.
Mm.
We're all going for the pair of jeans, so that's the end of
Is
the
that the
voting
right
process.
one?
That-
Top production.
Hey,
Incredible, isn't it?
that's shocking.
It is.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
Okay.
Okay, jumping around the room, we come to Bob.
Right. I've got a bit of an essay here, but it won't take long.
Well, surprise.
Who, you have to listen carefully, who, when approached early one morning by a suitor for one of his two daughters, took him to their bedroom and whipped off the sheet, waking them and exposing them both for the suitor's inspection. This,
So just
who was?
two daughters.
Two daughters, yeah.
Yes, and they both slept in the same bed. The suitor came, he said, oh, come and have a look.
Take your pick.
Right, was it St. Thomas More, statesman and author of Utopia, born 1478, head chopped off in 1535?
Because
Or
of
was it Lieutenant General Sir John Moore, military hero, born 1761, died successfully defending Corunna in 1809? Not a drum was heard, not a funeral note, as his corpse to the ramparts we carry.
Oh, I remember this.
Famous verse, yeah. Or was it number 3, Thomas Moore, the Irish poet and lyricist, born in Dublin 1779, died in Brumham, Wiltshire in 1852, praised by Byron and Walter Scott, but one critic wrote, Lella Rookh is a naughty book by Tommy Moore, who has written 4, each warmer than the former, so the most recent is the least decent.
Decent.
Or lastly, was it George Augustus Moore, an Irish novelist and poet, born 1852, died 1933, influenced by Zola and said to have influenced James Joyce? Oscar Wilde said, he leads his readers to the latrine and locks them in. So you've got 4 Moores there.
Oh, God. Sir Thomas.
Incredible research there, Bob. Fantastic.
St. Thomas, Sir John Moore, Lieutenant General Sir John, and then the 2 Irish literary types, Thomas More and George Augustus Moore.
Thomas
Okay.
More, I'm going for Thomas.
Votes for St. Thomas More. I'm going for St. Thomas
Oh,
More.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
2 votes for him.
Okay.
Lieutenant General Sir John.
no.
There's
Oh,
one. One for Pete.
Oh.
Thomas More, the poet. There's
Oh, yeah,
one.
3.
Oh, 3. And George
George
Augustus. I think that's just one, just Talia.
Okay.
So Thomas More, the poet, is the least decent of them all.
Right, well, it was St. Thomas More with 1 O. This is all according to John Aubrey in his brief lives. Of course, an entirely reliable reporter of gossip.
God. Oh, my.
Well, that's my Catholic upbringing for you. I've always known that the saints are a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
Jumping around the room, we come to Pete.
Well, I chose mine after reading and being disgusted about something in the paper this morning. It'll take you, it's been very hard for you to come to any decision on this. So which one am I thinking of? He's an ace jogger despite his proportions, who has learned that by waving his arms and spouting, he can take Labour seats in the coming local elections. Is it JB, NF, VP, or BJ?
BJ.
JB, NF, VP, or BJ? Well, I wonder, we need to work out who they stand for. I know what BJ stands
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
VP. Do we know, can anybody make a guess on the other initials, who they stand for?
J.
Farage. Nigel
NF, Nigel
Farage.
Farage.
Nigel Farage.
JB.
Oh, see?
Oh, VP.
JB.
Putin, isn't it?
Oh, Putin.
Putin is VP.
Yeah.
Oh, Vladimir
Ah,
Putin.
Vladimir
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
So going
JB.
international, JB.
Oh, right, okay. Mm,
JB.
Biden, Joe Biden.
Joe
Joe
Biden.
Biden.
Joe Biden.
Mm.
Okay, yeah. Votes for
Okay.
JB.
No.
Nul
Oh,
point.
and what was the question? I've forgotten what the question. Oh, who can take a,
He's a jogger
Votes
who
on.
likes to wave his arms around and,
Yeah.
and get loads of votes.
oh, right.
Well, we know who it is, don't
We
we?
know.
Yes, we do.
BJ.
BJ. Okay, jumping around the room, we come to Sheila.
Oh, mine's much more flippant than all this. Okay.
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
I know the answer to this one.
Yeah. What was the name of the real life whale whose story was published in a magazine in 1839, which was thought to have inspired Herman Melville to write Moby Dick? Was it Richard the Whale, William Power, Mocha Dick, or Sea Monster?
Can you say those again, Sheila?
Was it Richard the Whale, William Power, Mocha Dick, or Sea Monster?
Hmm. That's difficult.
It was a real whale, wasn't it?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Okay,
Let's
let's
go.
have some votes. Richard the Whale. Nul point. Oh, there's one.
One.
William Power. 2. Mocha Dick. 2. And Sea Monster.
I'm going to go for Sea Monster.
Sea Monster. I can't vote because I know the answer. So there we go.
It
And the
was
answer is
Mocha Dick.
Mocha Dick.
Oh.
Spelled
The boring one.
Interesting.
M-O-C-H-A, Mocha Dick. Oh, that was hilarious.
Yeah, so
Why did they call him Mocha Dick?
well, I don't
We
know.
don't know.
I did Google it, and there wasn't an explanation as why it was called Mocha Dick, but it was an
Real,
albino whale. It was a big white.
Big
Oh,
white
right.
whale. And he inspired the Moby Dick.
And it was known for being quite ferocious, and it sunk quite a few whaling
But
skiffs.
if you think of it, Mocha Dick is a bit like Moby Dick, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah, I thought that was.
Yeah.
I thought that was too
Well,
That
obvious.
was too obvious.
Yeah.
I went for the least obvious.
Yeah.
Okay, jumping around the room, we come to Roger.
Okay, in 1989, I had the honor of meeting Tony Benn, who was my hero. What did Tony Benn say to me? Was it A, the economic infrastructure will be swept away to make way for business parks and lower rates of pay? Was it B, can I please have some tea? Was it C, the media will always distort the message? Or was it D, the greeting in Frome was like being in a campaign rally?
Oh, right.
The greeting.
No, greeting.
Oh, the greeting.
Hmm.
Oh my God. You met him.
It was like a campaign rally.
Yeah, I think.
Sounds.
Well, can I have some tea?
I think it was Can I Have Some? I'm going to go for Can I Have Some Tea? The economic
It's
infrastructure.
tempting, isn't it?
Mm.
It's tempting.
Well, I'm jolly glad you didn't include something like "Who are you?"
Yeah.
Can you read them again, Roger?
Yes. What did Tony Benn say to me when we met? Was it the economic infrastructure will be swept away to make way for business parks and lower rates of pay? Was it, can I please have some tea? Was it the media will always distort the message? Or was it the greeting in Frome was like being in a campaign rally?
Wow.
It's been between those two for me.
Oof.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's see some
Oh,
voting.
dear. I mean, I'm sure he said.
The
I'm
economic.
sure he said A.
I'm
as
sure
well.
he said all four
And
of
I'm
those
sure he
things.
said all of them. But which one did he say to you?
Which one did he say?
Yeah.
Economic infrastructure will be swept away. Any votes for that?
I'm sure he said it, but maybe not to you.
Could I have a cup of tea, please?
Yes, I think I'm going for 3.
1, 2, 3.
3.
The media will always distort the message. Ooh,
One,
there's a vote
okay.
for that one.
And the Frome
And
one.
the greeting in Frome was like being in a campaign rally. 2 for
2,
that one.
right.
Just between those
Will
two.
the real Tony Benn-
Will the real Tony Benn please stand up?
So he said to me, can I please have some tea?
Yeah.
There's a nice little story that goes with this. He came to Frome to do any questions. It was the last any questions of the 80s. Frome Labour Party wrote to him and asked him if he'd like to meet us afterwards. And he replied saying he'd very much like that. But there was an official reception for all the sort of high-ups of Frome and the guests on any questions, which included Enoch Powell and Michael Heseltine and Faye Weldon. But Tony Benn opted not to go to the official reception. Instead, he came to meet members of the Labour Party in Frome.
Right.
And the only words he spoke to me were, can I please have some tea? He did actually say 2 of the other things. Number 1, the economic infrastructure. For those of you who like musicals, that was actually from Billy Elliot, the musical.
How old was he then, Roger?
Don't know. It was 89. I don't know. I can't think. He was still in Parliament, I think, in 89.
He can't be that old.
So but Enoch Powell was very old at the time. I remember him being very frail. I didn't meet him,
They
fortunately.
still had him on any questions. Wow.
Yeah.
That's just awful.
Right.
No.
Our final quiz question comes from Talia.
Okay. Right, this is sort of straightforward. Who was the first president to be democratically elected? This is female president in the modern world. Was it Indira Gandhi, Golda Meir, Vigdis Finnbogadottir?
We need a bit of help with that one.
I might have to have another shot at that. Finnbogadottir, yeah, or Sri Manava Bandaranaike. Who was the first woman
Who was the first one? Can you say the name
president to be
again?
elected democratically?
Name again. Top one.
Indira Gandhi. Indira Gandhi, Golda Meir, Vigdis Finnbogadottir, and Bandaranaike.
So she can't have it.
So we've got 4 votes.
Mhm.
Golda Meir.
Indira Gandhi, Golda Meir, Vigdis Hanging Bog of Babylon,
Yes. Finnbogger.
Finnbogger.io.
And Mrs. Unpronounceable number 4.
Yeah.
Number 4, yeah, just call her number 4.
And this is the first female president of a democratically elected. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, oh,
Who's going to vote for Indira Gandhi?
I'm not sure.
Nobody. Who's going to vote for Golda Meir? 3. Who's going to vote for Mrs. Vigis Hanging Bog of Babylon?
Unpronounceable.
And
And the last one, number 4.
Mrs. D, also unpronounceable.
Oh,
Bandaranaike.
there are 2 votes.
Bandaranaike, 2.
Who-
Bandaranaike.
Okay.
Could we just
Well,
know what countries those 2 unpronounceable women were made president?
Vigis is Iceland, and Bandaranaike is from Sri Lanka, or otherwise, or Ceylon. It was a trick question. I'm sorry about that, because I asked who was the first president, and in fact, it's Vigis, whatever her name is, she was the first president to be elected
Yeah, 'cause
in
Golda Meir was the
1980,
Prime Minister.
and she's president of Iceland. The first prime minister was Bandaranaike, and I haven't got a date for her.
It was very early on. wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was very early on.
Yeah.
She was the first prime minister to be democratically elected, followed by Indira Gandhi in
Yeah.
1966, followed by Golda Meir in 1969.
Well, there you go.
So it's interesting. When did Thatcher get elected?
79.
79,
79.
right, okay, a lot later.
What
Yeah.
about Boudica? Wasn't she the president of the,
I did say the
the
modern
ICT?
world, but I don't know if
Modern
was
world.
Boudica elected democratically. I
I
doubt
doubt
it.
it.
I doubt it.
We need
Yeah, I
to
think she
invite
stole
her.
the
Go back
election.
to the list and invite her and we'll find out.
Oh, God.
Very nice. Well, thank you very much, everyone.
Anyone left?
No, there's nobody left. And we're running out very rapidly of time. So over to you, Pete.
Well, I'm just going to go and
Don't let
look.
him talk.
Just going to look in the bin for the bottle of Vic that Hillary's thrown out.
We're going to look for some more novel places to put it. Would you like a few suggestions?
I haven't told you all the novel ways he's got of getting rid of said Qatar.
Oh, no, Hillary.
Don't go there.
Please.
Can't go there. Please don't give us an extra 40 minutes for free.
No,
It's time.
no.
Well,
Isn't
When-
there
when
anything more modern
when-
than Vic?
when we lived in Barnsley, it was always, you couldn't see